Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa. I'm the car boot crafter, and today's craft along with me project is, well, the inspiration came from the office of all places. So I was in the office today, and we have books that we have to complete, so we have to fill them in, and we've got our own individual ones so that have to be filled in. And a colleague of mine, I noticed, had this little notebook actually clipped into her A4 notebook. And I asked her where she got it from, because it was a notebook and she was, jotting little bits on, just a little word or a little bit, a number or two. And I asked her where she got it from. She told me she'd got it from a stationery outlet. And that it cost almost £5, and it's only a tiny little booklet. And I was like, but I could make that so easy. So she let me have a look at it, and I took some measurements, and well, I'm going to have a go at making one. And I thought it'd be great fun to turn the camera on and we'll do it together. So all you need is some scrap card, some copy paper, some paper clips, and a little bit of Velcro or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be Velcro, whatever you want to use to fasten it. And yeah, so let's get started. Right, so you'll need your scrap paper, and you're just going to cut yourself an inch, 2 inches, sorry. So let's pop that in there. I'm going to cut this to 2 inches. And while I'm at it, I'm going to cut another one, because I'm going to make more than one of these. So I'll cut this one for after. So you'll need one per notebook, and that needs to measure 7 inches in total. So 2 inches by 7 inches. Keep that because we'll need a bit of that. I'm going to do the other one as well. Why not? I'm not going to do both of them at the same time, but I'm cutting them. So I'll save that one. That'll be the one to do afterwards. So, and then the bit of scrap. So if you've got a bit of scrap left over, so that was a 12-inch. But, whatever you've got to hand. And I'm going to cut this one down to 2 3/4. So you need one piece that's 2 inches by 7, and one piece that's 2 inches by 2 3/4. Okay. Then you need your scoreboard. Let's move that out the way. Your scoreboard, and for your bigger piece, pop it in like that, and you're going to score at 1 3/4, 2 inches, and then again at 5 inches and 5 1/4, and that's all our scoring done. So I can put that down, and I'll do the other one afterwards, and then fold it over on all of those score lines, and just fold and burnish and get them all, make sure you're all lined up like that. So we've got a little gusset like that, and the same at the other end. Fold it over, make sure that these two edges line up nicely. Same with this one. Don't want them on the one, because it will show up, because it's such a little notebook. And I can't believe that my colleague paid almost £5 for it, for a tiny little notebook, and that's the size of it. That is the cover to our little notebook. Okay, so once you've got that done, you're going to grab yourself a paper clip, and you're just going to clip it on to one side of your notebook. But what what I'm going to make sure I do is, so you've got your paper clip. Let's get it on there so you can see. So with a paper clip, you've got the short one and you've got the long one. So the short one, I'm going to make sure is inside, and then the long one is at the back. So that's the long one, that's the short one on the inside, and I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I don't want it right the way at the top, so I brought it down a little bit, about 1/2 inch, like that. And then that piece that we cut, that is 2 3/4 by 2 inch, I'm going to glue that in there to cover up the inside of the paper clip. So let's grab some glue and get that in there. So I mean, I don't suppose you really need to do this, but I just thought adding this bit in, it covers up your let's get my spreader. A bit more of that come out than I expected. It covers up the paper clip, and it also holds it in place, so it's not going to so you're not going to take the notebook off the paper clip, if that makes sense. So I'm going to pop this in just below. So I've got my score there, so I've got one score there, and then I've got that score there as well. So I'm going to make sure it's in the middle of the two, like that. So it's not quite all the way to the score at the top or the bottom. I'm going to lay that down. Let's take it out from under the paper copy, because I want to cut that up in a minute. So just go round and make sure that's all smoothed down and it's all lined up beautifully on the edges. We don't want any bits sort of sticking out like that. Actually, if I do that, that's going to hold it. And then my bone folder is just making sure that that glue's got contact all the way around there. There's a little bit oozing out the sides, so I'm just using my finger to sort of tidy that up a bit. Right, I'm going to pop that to one side to dry. So there's my paper clip on the back. I can pop my glue away because I don't need that now. And I'm going to bring in my photocopy paper. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to be really, really careful to make sure that this line, these two edges are lined up. Okay, and then I'm going to just crease that like that. Let's move those out the way. And then I'm going to bring in my other paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut at 2 inches. I folded it in half because I thought it'd be easier to double up. So that one is going to go all the way through like that, so that I've got the loose edge here. And I'm going to cut that at 2 inches. And then slice that, being very careful to hold it together. That is on the wonk, isn't it? That is rather wonky. Let's do that again. Yeah, that's gone very wonky. Probably because I was trying to do it sideways on. But hey ho. So I've got two pieces like that, and then I'm going to cut these at 2 3/4. So there's one. Try and keep them as together as I can. 2. Let's see if we can get a third one out of this. That looks like I should be able to. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Only a tiny little bit off the edge, but there we go. So I've got those. I want to do another one, but that is rather wonky, so I'm going to have to be very careful. Straighten that edge up. flip it back over and do that at 2 inches again. And I'm going to not put it too much of an angle. I'm going to hold it very carefully. There we go. Right, that's no good to me. That's not quite 2 inches. I think I might have got another 2 inches out of it if I hadn't have cut on the wonk. So there's another 2. And slide that in. So these are all 2 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Should be able to get another one. Let's check. Yeah, and I mean it is just a tiny little sliver that I'm cutting off, so that should be enough for now. Right, let's bring those all together, stack them all nicely. There we go. So these are going to be the pages of the little notebook. So that's drying. So there's my paper clip. So what I want to do is put these, so the paper clip is there, and I want to put them so they're almost at the top of this end, like that. So there's my crease mark, and I'm just below the crease mark, so hopefully you can see, you just see a very thin line of it. So just below the crease, hold it very carefully. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is hold it and then get a paper clip, get a bulldog clip on it. I've got one there. So make sure I've lined up the edges. Let's pop that there, that will hold it. Just want to make sure I've lined those edges up, not quite all the way at the top. And then I've got a stapler, and I'm just going to bring my stapler in, and just below that edge there I'm going to staple it somewhere in the middle, hopefully. There we go. I've got my staple in. Only need the one. You can do 2 if you want, or I guess you could make these as big as you want, really, couldn't you? So there's my paper clip, my staples at the top, and I've got my little notebook. So I'm going to bring these back over. So I've got my gussets, which means that I've got room for my note pages, and I've also got some Velcro dots. Now these dots looked quite big for this project because it's only a tiny little notebook, so I've cut it in half. So all I'm going to do is, there's my staple, so that one's going to go under, I want that one to go over, and I'm going to line up my half circle just below that, just below there, like that. So that's stuck on there. Fold that over. I want to line it up nicely, and there you go. That is a little notebook that can clip into your notebook, or I suppose you could use it for anything really, even junk journals or anything like that. So this is just one of my little on the desk notebooks. So let me show you how it works. So you just clip it in like that, and then when you're writing there, you've got another little notebook there. Or even if it was a book, you know, like a textbook, or if you were reading something, you could clip it up and make little notes on there. I just think it's really cute, and I cannot believe that my colleague paid almost £5 for something like this. It was okay. It was a little bit more substantial than a piece of 12 by 12 card that I've used, the scrap card that I've used. It was, you know, hardboard, but essentially it's the same thing. It really, really is. So I just think that it's a great idea, but I wouldn't pay £5 for it. So I'm thinking, because I've got all sorts of papers and what have you, I could make these in all sorts of colours, all sorts of designs, pattern up the front, make that quite jazzy, maybe even put people's names on, stuff like that, or even put a little across there that says notes, and then those would be great as little gifts at Christmas. Or even bag them up in some nice cellophane and sell them for £1 at the craft fairs or the Christmas fairs. So I think that's what I might do, batch make a whole load of these. They are going to cost me next to nothing because I got loads of these brass, really nice brass paper clips. Of course I've got loads of scrap cards, and I've got a ton of photocopy paper as well. So I could make these up, and I can make them as thin or as thick as I like. All depends how well my industrial almost stapler is going to be in going through a whole heap of paper. That's the only restriction I've got on how thick this is going to be. So there you go, another simple craft along with me project. So I hope you grabbed yourself some scrap paper and some copy paper and a paper clip or two and crafted along with me. Anyway, I'll leave the measurements in the description box below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.